This is the iPhone 15 Pro and I've been using it every day for over 8 months now. And in this video, I'm going to tell you what it's been like and if it's worth getting. Let's get into it. Now the first thing we're going to talk about is the design. I got the iPhone 15 in the titanium colorway and it's a 1TB configuration. This color is by far the best colorway Apple has ever released for any iPhone. I just love how simple yet elegant this color looks. It's a slate grayish color and I'm not really a fan of gray, but this phone really made me fall in love with that color. It just looks good with anything and honestly it's pretty timeless.
So beautiful, so elegant, just looking like a wow.
So Apple has now incorporated titanium into the build, which makes the iPhone about 187 grams lighter than the previous phone. It really does make a difference. This is the 13 Pro I upgraded from. This is a very heavy phone. I chuck this at somebody, it's definitely knocking them out. When I pick up this phone versus the 15, I definitely feel a big weight difference. So back to the design, I really think Apple has perfected the design for the iPhone. I honestly don't see it getting much better than this. Now I'm gonna say this, I'm not even glazing, but this design will hit the same as it does now 10 years in the future because it's just such a good design. Now I really like the matte glass on the back. It feels really nice and smooth. The titanium on the side provides a nice contrast as well, but the titanium is a fingerprint magnet and the glass on the back is slippery when you're holding it without a case. But then again, it doesn't really affect me too much as I always rock a case with it, but if you're gonna raw dog it, that's something to keep in mind of. So the screen is actually very nice. It's an OLED display, which means that it produces vibrant colors and very sharp images, and overall it's a pleasure to consume content on. The screen can also go up to 2000 nits of brightness, which is also a blessing and a curse. The blessing being, when you're outside, you can raise the brightness to max and you won't ever really have a problem being able to see the display, even in the sunniest conditions that I've experienced. However, at nighttime, this will literally burn your eye sockets. There's been plenty of times where I raise the brightness to max by accident and it feels like I'm seeing the light of 1,000 suns. But when I'm inside, I usually keep the brightness to about 20 to 30% and that doesn't hurt my eyes at all. The last point regarding the screen is gonna be the always on display feature. I'm not sure if that was a feature prior to this phone, but I tried to use it myself and honestly I found it pretty useless. It's not too hard for me to just tap my phone or even look at my phone for the attention to wear feature and it'll turn on in like a second. So I decided to turn it off and haven't looked back since. Now it's time to talk about the features of the 15 Pro. First one up is the dynamic island. Now this was something that was new to me because I came from the 13 Pro and as you know that one had the notch. It can be useful but it's not really too useful in my every day-to-day activities. Cool things you can do are pause or set your timer, play, pause, skip your music. Now in my day-to-day usage I barely even use the dynamic island. However, there's one thing I really dislike about it, the alarm app. So I always set alarms to remind myself of certain events or things I need to do, and I have alarms going off frequently. Now with the dynamic island, if I'm on the phone or if I'm watching a video or doing something, instead of taking up the whole screen like the alarm app used to do, it goes straight to the dynamic island. Whenever I try to snooze it or try to dismiss it, it kind of disappears off the screen but still keeps ringing. So Apple, if you're watching this, please fix that because it's so annoying. The next feature we're going to talk about is the action button. Now Apple took away the switch for the ringer on this phone and turned it into a button. You can map out the action button to a couple different options, but at the end of the day, it's a pretty useless feature and it's pretty forgettable because the ringer functionality is so key to the phone. If you're out in a business meeting, watching movies in the library, you can quickly reach into your pocket without even looking at your phone and hit the ringer button and turn off your ringer. Next up is the A17 chip. Now this is a new chip to the iPhone 15 and it's a very fast chip. It's supposed to be really good for gaming, but again, I don't really game too much aside playing Temple Run here and there. Now, thanks to that chip, this phone is really fast. The Face ID is very quick as well, to the point that I kind of forget I have a passcode. I literally look at my phone, swipe up, and I'm in within a millisecond. Now, besides that, I didn't really notice too much of a difference in my everyday use cases as compared to the 13 Pro, which is what I upgraded from. Overall, this phone is fast, and at the same time, I feel like Apple can keep making the phones faster. You just won't really notice it unless you're utilizing really intensive apps or heavy gaming. Now, the last and one of the biggest changes on the phone is the USB-C port. Apple has finally switched from the Lightning port to the USB-C port, and it's pretty nice. Now all my devices from my MacBook to my iPad all use USB-C and I don't have to worry about carrying a separate charger just for my phone. The transfer speeds are 10 gigabytes per second, so I can take all the content off my phone straight into my hard drive within a couple seconds and it works pretty good. Before we talk about the camera, I want to show you this. This is a SandMarc travel backpack, and it's essential for anyone who likes to travel and create content with iPhone camera gear. Now, SandMarc is a brand that creates a lot of high quality Apple accessories, and this is definitely one of them. Now, here's what makes this bag special. It has a spot on the shoulder strap where you can get POV shots using your phone. It has tons of pockets to store various items. It fits all the essentials like a 14-inch MacBook Pro, an iPad, and other things you may need to carry. It has compartments specifically designed for iPhone lenses, filters, and other gear. There's pockets on each side which are both expandable. Additionally, you can expand the backpack capacity from 25 to 30.5 liters using this zipper. It has a tripod holder at the bottom, a luggage pass-through for ease of use when traveling. It also uses premium materials throughout, such as the reliable YYK zippers, waterproofed bottom, and the durable aluminum hardware. It has a section where you can keep 2 to 3 days worth of clothing and other essential items kept separate from your gear. They basically thought of everything you would need. Make sure you guys check out the backpack. Link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. Now, let's dive into the iPhone camera. As we all know, the iPhone camera has always been amazing, but this year it just feels even better. I'm not sure why that is, but I love taking photos and capturing videos on this camera. Let's talk about the photos. Now, this phone can take amazing photos. I love the colors of the iPhone. They're very true to life, very vibrant, and very sharp images as well. I mean, at this point, you don't even really need a professional camera to shoot anything. That's how good the iPhone photos have gotten. Now, there's this new feature they introduced for the photo portion of the camera. It's called the 2x lens. Basically, it's the 1x lens cropped into 24 millimeters, and they also introduced 2 other options. So there's the default 24 millimeter, 28 millimeter, and 35 millimeter. Honestly, I don't even use the 28 or 35 millimeter. When I had them enabled, it was really annoying trying to cycle through which one I wanted, and it just was more a nuisance than a helpful feature, so I just turned it off, and again, haven't looked back since. Now, another new feature is a 15 times digital zoom. So basically, you can digitally zoom in with the camera up to 15 times, which is pretty nice, and it provides a nice little box in the corner for you to properly frame where you're zooming into. Now, even though it's a cool feature, the quality is not the best, and that's what you can expect from a digital zoom, but nonetheless, it's cool to have. I would say portrait mode is pretty good. Honestly, it's not a feature I use too often, but it provides a nice high quality feel with the blurred background, and it gives you a feeling of using a DSLR or more of a professional camera. Moving on to the video side of the camera, I can honestly say iPhone quality is by far unmatched. I don't care if you guys want to call me a fanboy, but the videos you can get from this phone are so clean, crispy, colors are true to life, vibrant, images are sharp. Literally, when I'm filming on my iPhone, I don't even bother color grading anymore. That's how much I really like the color profile that Apple has already built in. So my go-to video settings are 4K 60, and the videos become so crispy and clean. I mean, the video quality is so good now that I film some YouTube videos on my phone and people don't even notice the difference. So now I'm going to give you some footage from the front and back camera so you can see what the audio and video is like, and this is unedited. So this is video from the front camera.
So right now I'm looking at the front facing camera. The brightness keeps like going up and down on the phone, so I can't really see how good the footage looks, but the camera is like this massive compared to my iPhone 13, so it should be pretty good.
And now this is video from the back camera. As you can see, both phones have great autofocus on the front and the back camera. However, the back camera just takes the cake. I wish they would improve upon the front camera a little bit more, because I do experience some noise indoors when I'm shooting, even in the daytime. Now, the 3x lens has the same issue with the camera as it does with the video. I still get that lens distortion when I'm switching from lenses, and sometimes it takes seconds to even minutes to focus and get a crispy video on the 3x camera. It's pretty annoying, and Apple definitely needs to fix that. Now, for this phone, the zoom for the video is also upgraded, so you get a 9x digital zoom. Again, I don't use it too frequently because of the loss in quality, but again, it's a nice feature to have. Now, another great feature about this camera, and even the previous generation cameras, is that the stabilization is peak. It's very good, to the point where you can be running, jogging, and doing other physical activity where the camera's moving up and down a lot, and you would barely notice the shaking. Now let's get into one of my favorite features that I have a love-hate relationship with, which is the ProRes log footage. For those of you who don't know, log profiles basically take all the color and sharpness out of the video, so you can basically play around with it and make the video look however you want to. This is standard on all big cameras like DSLRs, but the iPhone has now got it, and it's so amazing. You can literally make footage look like it's from a camera like this. Even from the front camera, it looks so sharp and so clean when you color grade it, and the back camera obviously looks amazing. Now the con about this is that it takes so much storage from your phone to the point where you really need to connect an external hard drive into your phone and basically create like a camera rig, which takes away the portability of having a phone like this. Overall, regarding the camera, I'm in love with it and wouldn't choose any other phone over this one. Next up is battery life. So the battery life on this phone is supposed to be impressive. On the Apple website, it says it can do 23 hours of video playback on a single charge. However, I'm gonna call cap. In my experience, my average screen time is about 5.5 hours, and I do charge my phone for 2 hours a day, so one way to work and the other way back while I'm in my car, and my phone is almost always dead by the time I reach home. Right now my battery health is showing 94%, so I'm not sure why I'm not able to keep a charge as long or why the battery is depleting so quickly. So leading into the cons of this phone, that would be one con is that the battery drains pretty quickly, and another con would be that this phone heats up pretty quick. I'm not sure what the issue is exactly. When it's charging, when I'm using it, there's times where it's so hot to the point where I have to set it down and let it cool off for a couple minutes. Overall, I really enjoy the 15 Pro. It's a great phone to have, a great content creation machine, and also just a great phone in general for taking photos, videos, consuming content, and doing anything you really need to do. And also, it just looks so good. Like, this is such a good looking phone. Now, who do I think this phone's for? If you have anything lower than the 13 Pro, I'd definitely say upgrade, because then you'll really notice the difference. But for anyone with the 13 and 14, I don't really think it's too much of a change besides the titanium colorway. Now that's gonna be all for the video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what phone you have, what phone you're thinking of getting. Thanks for watching.
Talk to me, baby, talk to me.